So I'm at the Hollywood Roosevelt, where a personal record has just been broken, and maybe a Hollywood Roosevelt record, although I'm sure somebody has done it at some time. 10,700 feet is what I swam today. Eric Bear, yes, your friend on the Eric Bear channel, swam 10,700 feet. Don't ask me the time, I just kind of kept going and said, because I had a personal friend here, Chandler, who's like, dude, you should try and do more. You should try and break your record, which was 1.5 miles. So today I did just over 2 miles, and it was just, it was euphoric, but I gotta tell you, it was like one after another, and it was amazing to get that many miles. So I'm looking to do 2.5 and then 3, and so we'll see what happens after that. But you know, this pool is 100 feet long. As you can see, it's an amazing pool right behind me, and amazing environment, amazing staff at the Hollywood Roosevelt here in Hollywood, downtown Hollywood, as if Hollywood is actually a city in California, and it's not at all. It's a fictitious city that's called Hollywood, as it were, or as it were not, or as it were when, where, how. More to come. Thanks for subscribing, all that stuff. And now, as only Louis Farrakhan can say it, in his own words and his own demeanor, he's talking to America and the press. Here we go.
And paid for. This is a hell of a betrayal of the American people when you will not tell them the truth because you're afraid that if you tell the truth, your bosses will take your job from you. That's a hell of a thing. You don't have a democracy when you don't have a free press. You're all slaves, and you love it. So you deserve what you get, the erosion of your democracy. You'll soon be the laughing stock of the world.
That works out to less than 50 cents a
It's a damn shame. That's why the children
month.
are occupying space in New York, in Boston, in Washington, in Chicago, in San Francisco, and other cities. Why? Because they're not looking to you as a source of information for them. Look how long it took you all to talk about what was going on in New York. It took you 2 weeks because the same people that controlled the banks controlled the media. You all know it, but you're afraid to say it. But God put it on Farrakhan to say it for you. And maybe one day you'll get some courage to stand up and give America free media. A real free fourth estate. But right now, you ain't even worth the time of day.
Local news headlines, traffic and weather up next on WVON.
I'm glad. Hell, I'm not hiding nothing. You need somebody to tell the truth.
That's right.
You need somebody that's not afraid to die for the truth, that you could be made free. Because you're not free. And you don't really know what it means to really be a free white person, a free black person, a free Mexican, a free Arab. If you're afraid to tell the truth, what future does your children have in a society where truth is brushed to the curb? I thank God for the young man that invented this wonderful technology.
Steve Jobs. Yeah.
Steve Jobs. That's the man that's freeing the whole planet, where Zbigniew Brzezinski could say, yesterday it was easier to control 1 million people than to kill 1 million people. Then now he says it's easier to to kill 1 million people than to control 1 million people, because the genie is out of the box, the cat is out of the bag. The people all over the world are waking up, and you need to wake up and free America. Then you'll have a future, and your children will have a future. But if you're afraid for what? You're going to die anyway. Where can you run to escape death?
Check on aisle. Ma'am?
If you love America, then fight for America.
Guys, how you doing today? So it's Eric Bear. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for doing all those things. So the important things that I have to say today, all of this kind of was spurred by talking to a doctor yesterday that was totally opposed to all this whole COVID situation, and also talking to and listening to Louis Farrakhan. Today, this morning, it came up on my news feed, and I was amazed that Louis Farrakhan came out with all these things, saying that the freedom is the most important. Louis Farrakhan is revered in many different facets, but especially in the liberal side, because he's been a renegade and all these things. And I was so glad that Louis Farrakhan said something that only Louis Farrakhan could say, and it helps America so greatly. And thank God for his passion for our country, for his country, our country. And that he had the intestinal fortitude to get up and say what was on his heart, what was on his mind. And that flashes me forward to what this doctor I went in to see the foot doctor yesterday, and just making sure everything's okay. And he was talking, and we were talking about, I asked him, did you close for COVID? And he said, no, we didn't close for COVID. I said, good for you. I said, for God's sakes, all these doctors, they're in the medical field and they're closing for COVID. And he says, yeah, I didn't understand it. He's like a 33-year-old man. And he said, our doctor's office is staying open. Another thing he said was very interesting is he said, quote unquote, this is what the doctor said, I stopped listening to CNN. He stopped listening to CNN. He doesn't listen to any news broadcast whatsoever. He gets one paper, he gets Wall Street Journal, has it delivered, and that's what he reads and gets his news from. And doctors, as you know, are independent thinkers. And you know this person, Eric Bear, is an independent thinker. And that's what I want to translate to you, is to be an independent thinker. Think on your own, have your own ideas, have your own precepts and principles, and think about philosophical things that are actually going to help. That's why I like Jordan Peterson so much. Those are the people that you really want to have on your team and in your thought process, and helping you through this thing and helping you through this life. And that, and the Bible and God and Jesus, of course. I'm not leaving that out. I mean, that's the heartthrob that's been through my whole life. And another thing that's very interesting that I will say that Louis Farrakhan said that really hit home with me. If you want to be a free white man, if you want to be a free black man, if you want to be a free Hispanic, if you want to be a free Arab here in this country, then you've got to stop. And all those people, that's all the races. We have to stop this erosion of the truth and say the truth and speak the truth. And that's what Louis Farrakhan is saying. Stop listening to the news media. Start listening to the common people that are on Facebook and doing those things. I mean, Nancy Pelosi walks into a salon that's supposed to be closed in her area, but because she's better than you, Nancy Pelosi's better than you, she gets to get her hair done in there. I understand Nancy Pelosi needs a lot of help. And so I'm not necessarily dissuading that she should have gone to the salon. But what I am saying is that it's Animal Farm all over again. If you haven't read the book, it's like $2.79. Go buy it, used or new or whatever. Animal Farm, George Orwell, and read it. Some are better than others. Now that's what we're experiencing. This communism, socialism, where somebody is better than others in our own country. Yeah, people would say, oh, that's been going on, this and that. Hey, listen, this person doesn't believe it. And if you're going to do something with our country and with this flag has stood for freedom. I understand there's inequities, but there's a lot more inequities if you go to other countries than there is in this country. And I think you need to put that into your perspective, into your political agenda, into what you're thinking, and that's where you need to find the truth. And if you find the truth, it will set you free. That's what it says in the New Testament. When I found Jesus Christ, when I found God in my heart, when I found the Creator, I found the ultimate truth of going to heaven. And I found the ultimate truth of living life. But in that whole thing, we also have to find truths within our life and in ourselves and not listen to the mainstream of things. Broad is the way that leads to destruction. Narrow is the way that goes to eternal life. Isn't that what it says? What does that mean? It means what it says. If you follow a multitude to do evil or to go to a certain path, you will be destroyed, my friend. Even though you might be my best friend, you might be whatever. I mean, I can't help you if you go against the Maker. And that's what we're talking about here. And that's what Louis Farrakhan is talking about. And he mentioned God and God telling him things. So I hope that you listen to these messages and the truth will set you free today. God bless you. God bless America.
O'er the land.